In today's video, Flight of the Crowswing peruses a plethora of parks. Medoc Mountain, Stone Mountain, Goose Creek, and Fort Macon State Parks of North Carolina, February 2022. Our first stop after visiting friends in Virginia was Medoc Mountain State Park. It is a relatively small park with a nice campground. Taking a break from traveling, we stretched our legs by hiking a couple of their trails. And even though it was still early in the year, we found signs of the coming spring.
Beepers!
Beepers! Their longest trail, the Summit Loop Trail, was just over 4 miles long, and that was just enough. For the most part, we were just enjoying each other's company. After a couple of nights at Medoc Mountain, it was on to Asheboro. There we'd be once again visiting our friends Jay and Debbie of Backroad Capers fame. There's boondocking, and then there's moochdocking. That's when you park in your friend's front yard and steal their electricity. We thought it would be a great place to practice with the drone. Jay let us use his truck, Pongo, as the subject matter. Pongo and Jay have been with us on several of our adventures. We were warned not to fly the drone around bare branches, but it's February. There are bare branches everywhere.
Lois, what the hell?
Jay, Debbie, and Kodak, aka Snowflake, took us to Stone Mountain State Park with the promise of waterfalls and a bald mountain. The sign warned of danger ahead. But we weren't scared, because we live for the extreme. Early in the trail, there's a very big waterfall, with lots of steps leading to the bottom. You could take the fast way down, but it's not recommended. Some of us stayed back to get a wide-angle shot. Others in our party moved in for the close-up. Leaving the falls, we made our way back up the many stairs and up to the top of the mountain. Once you reach the top, you can see for miles and miles and miles. The wind made conversation on the mountaintop nigh on impossible, so we just quietly took it all in. Back down off the mountain, we visited one of the park's smaller waterfalls. And some of our party decided to take a swim. After all the hiking and swimming, some of us were dog-tired. And some of us took a cat nap, including those who did not go on the hike. The Capers Cozy Cabin is a great place to recover from grand adventures. While there, we did an oil change, tire rotation, and replugged one of the tires that was leaking. Too soon, we had to say goodbye to our friends and head off down the road to Goose Creek State Park. We checked out this place online, and it looked like we could hike, kayak, and maybe get to see some coastal wildlife. It did not disappoint. The sites at the RV campground were not very private, but they did have full hookups. And the campground was not very full this time of the year. Before we were done, we had hiked every trail in this park.
There's a boat launch at Goose Creek State Park. Pamela Goose Sound.
The park has 2 boat launches. A soft launch by the primitive campground, and across the creek, a paved launch for the powered boats. The hiking trails were relatively flat and well kept, Not strenuous by any means, but it was nice to be out in nature. Our longest hike was a 7-mile loop around the park. And of course, I did find a lizard to take pictures of, as per our agreement with our lizard overlords. One of the highlights was the boardwalk, which runs a mile through the swamp. Unfortunately, it was being repaired while we were there, and we did not get to walk the entire length. I got to practice taking photos of birds, including this nuthatch. I'm an amateur photographer, and I took this photograph. It wasn't all birds, though. We even spied a pod of dolphins while we were hiking. And a herd of turtles.
I can do it. I can get up here. I can get up here and sun myself. I can do it. I can do it. I got it. Dag nabbit.
Then the day came to paddle up into Goose Creek. We decided to put in at the Dinah Landing boat launch because there was more room for parking. We took our time paddling slowly up the river, watching the Spanish moss wave in the breeze. The water was relatively still, and the paddling was easy.
Of course, I hit record and he's not doing anything.
One of the first birds we came across was this beautiful blue heron. The green of the palmetto was set off nicely by the gray of the driftwood. Then we found another, or it might have been the same heron, and I got this shot. We spied this hawk, preening its feathers, seemingly unconcerned as we paddled by. And then there was the third heron, Or maybe the same heron. Or the second heron. I don't know. They all look alike. See you later. As we paddled, the creek became narrow. And we saw a turtle. And we saw an alligator, which we did not get on film. And as a first for us, we saw a nutria. All too soon, it was time to head back to camp. All in all, it's a beautiful park with lots to do. I would give it 5 thumbs up. Continuing on down the coast, we made our way to the Cedar Point Campground, which is just inland of the Emerald Isle. Looking for a way to pass a blustery afternoon, we drove to the northern end of Emerald Isle and visited Fort Macon State Park. The original Fort Macon was built in the 1800s and used during the Civil War. Reconstructed by the CCC in 1935, it became North Carolina's first state park.
Pretty cool.
At the beginning of the Civil War, it was used by the Confederacy. After an 11-day siege, it was captured and returned to federal hands. While the Confederates were under siege, a soldier was assigned to bake bread. Supposedly a baker, his bread was deemed inedible by the garrison. Soldiers and officers alike wanted him removed, but it was only after they threatened to seize the flour rations did the commander concede to their wishes. To most, the fortress brings to mind only the history of the place. To us, walking through the fort reminded us of one of our favorite video games.
Come out, wherever you are! I can smell you out there, little sneak!
We were pleased that unlike most historic forts, which are usually just piles of dirt or a broken rampart, this one was beautifully reconstructed and allowed you to wander through its amazing architecture. We spent a good couple of hours just wandering around the facility and checking out all the ramparts. And there were cannons. Everyone loves cannons. All in all, we were floored by this amazing gem, and we were glad to have come to visit. On our way back to camp, we stopped and viewed the sunset on the southern end of the isle.
What's the difference between an isle and an island anyway?
I don't know. It's just fancier that way, I guess. Thank you for watching. And thanks to the Capers for sharing their home and their kitties. Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur. Soft kitty, sleepy kitty, purr, purr, purr. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe.